Hello, Kannagi. Nice to see you.
Yes, Kannaki. Hi.
Hello, Padmaji. Thank you for inviting me. So nice to be here. Nice
Long
to
time since we have seen each other.
Actually, unbelievable. Hope you're all well.
Yes. Let us hope the situation comes under control pretty soon.
Yes.
Namaste, Niruji. Hi, Shikha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has joined.
Good afternoon, Sheilaji. Can we start in another minute or should?
Yes, now
Sarah,
we are ready
Sarah
to
has
start.
also joined. Hello, Sarah.
Hello. We are ready to start.
Okay.
Should I start now? Start?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay.
Padmaji, you are saying something?
Padmaji, you are muted.
Unmute.
No, I think I'm all right now, right?
No, Padmaji wanted to say something. Padma
Yes.
Yankatraman. Can't hear you, Padmaji. You are muted.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can you make Kannagi the co-host? Because I don't see Shruti yet. So can you please kindly make Kannagi the co-host?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sujata also has not joined, ma'am.
Sujata is here. I just
And
saw.
Jitendra?
Sujata is here.
Sheila ji, kindly
Yes.
make
Good evening, ma'am. This is Sujata here, ma'am, from Chennai, joining from Chennai.
Phone?
Kalyani. Make her the co-host.
Yeah. And what about Jitendra?
Yeah, he will join. He is joining now.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you? Yeah.
Yes. Nice to meet you, everybody.
Yes, yes.
Meeting you all after a long time, maybe.
Can we start, Sheila ji?
Yes, we can start.
Okay. Good afternoon to all. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the dissemination workshop of the GUSI project. The GUCCI project was undertaken by AIWC in the year 2016. It was started at the head office at the AIWC head office at Delhi, and a year later, Mumbai branch was also given this project. In 2018, Chennai and Kolkata also took it up, and so now it is done in these 4 metropolitan cities of India by AIWC. Today, we will take a look at the work done by these 4 cities. I would now like to invite the AIWC President, Mrs. Sheila Kakade, to deliver her welcome address. Mrs. Kakade is also heading the GUCCI project in Mumbai. Over to you, Sheila ji.
Thank you, Rekha ji.
Yeah.
Namaskar and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my sisters and brothers who have joined in from Germany, South Africa, Indonesia in today's webinar. I extend warm welcome to each one of you on behalf of All India Women's Conference Head Office. Gender CC Germany through All India Women's Conference in India had initiated Gender into Urban Climate Change Initiatives, that is GUSI project, in an attempt to close the gender gaps and explore options for integrating gender and social issues into urban climate policies, initially in 3 countries, South Africa, Indonesia, India, and later in Mexico. The importance of gender integration in the entire climate discourse is a topic deserving a lot more attention than it is currently being given. The primary objective of GUSI project, analyzing the climate change policy in 4 different cities with the Gamma tools, highlight relevant policies and the mitigation and adaptation. Work out strategy and prepare suitable policy recommendation for sharing with the government and other stakeholders. The project in India started in Delhi and Mumbai as pilot cities in 2017 and later extended to Chennai and Kolkata. Today, we have gathered here at the fag end of the project to know the work done by the concerned branches of AIWC. Before handing over the mic, for the sake of our new friends who have joined in today, I take the opportunity to say a few lines about our organization, All India Women's Conference. AIWC is the 94 years old national organization established in 1927 by Sarojini Naidu, Margaret Cousins, Dr. Annie Besant, with Maharani Chimnabai Gaikwad II of Baroda as the first president. Our organization started off with the aim of education for women. We have consultative status in United Nations and at national level also. AIWC, having its head office at 6 Bhagwan Das Road, New Delhi, at its own level currently runs projects and programs implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. The education and position of women in British India needed a lot to be improved, and the formation of the community of women to work towards improving the status of women. Primary schools, Lady Irwin College in Delhi, working women's hostels, short stay home for distressed women are run by the branches. Our three trusts for education, health, and senior citizens also run separate programs. National integration and communal harmony programs are being offered to AIWC's vast network of branches, numbering around 500 plus all over India, with membership of around 1 lakh and plus dedicated voluntary workers. Other programs conducted are health checkups and anemia programs, socio-economic programs for empowerment of women, looking at the need of the hour, lot of our awareness programs on gender sensitization, women's safety, sexual harassment and legal awareness, environment and climate change, renewable energy, water and waste management are conducted on virtual platform these days. We already have decomposting plant. Last year in the lockdown period, we started off with e-waste collection center at the head office. 10 more branches of AIWC have also started the e-waste collection centers in their area to collect electrical and electronic waste and send for proper recycling and disposal. Solar panels and solar dryers are also installed at the head office and few branches. Now we at head office are all in action for making our campus zero waste campus. Thank you very much for giving me patient hearing. And here I ask Rekha ji to proceed further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kakade. And now I would like to invite Mrs. Kalyani Raj to present the concept and objective of the Gucci project. Mrs. Kalyani Raj has been our ex-Secretary General at AIWC and right now is member in charge climate change and environment. She has been spearheading the Gucci work in India. She has done immense work on climate change at the national level through our AIWC branches and also at the global level. She, along with Mrs. Usha Nair, zonal organizer South Zone B, have been attending climate change conferences at the UN level since the past 9 to 10 years. Mrs. Kalyani Raj, over to you.
Thank you, Rekha. Namaskar, everyone. And thank you all for joining us on this virtual event today. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure the entire Gucci team, it means a lot because this project, Gender into Urban Climate Change Initiative, which has been abbreviated for convenience sake to Gucci project. This has been a very different, interesting, quite challenging and knowledge enhancing project actually for me personally, and I'm sure that's been the same case with other partners. This project is part of the International Climate Initiative ICI, the German Federal Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety. The concept behind this project, as Sheila ji also mentioned, is primarily to look at the social and gender inequalities in urban areas in the context of differential impacts of climate change on different people. We know that with rapid urbanization, huge migration, and increasing extreme weather conditions, city spaces are becoming more and more susceptible to varying climate situations. The recent IPCC report reiterates the severe climate crisis which India particularly and South Asia may face in the next decade. Women, as always, due to their traditional roles and responsibilities, end up carrying heavier burden of work due to dislocation, facing different impacts due to change in weather conditions. Sometimes even they are forced to take up work with least essential facilities because of poverty and their economic condition. And then on top of all this, have very limited capacity and opportunities. So in this scenario, city governance plays a huge role in making the urban space safe, healthy, and suitable for women as well as men. And that can be possible only if appropriately structured policies and schemes with respect to climate change, transport, energy, and all other cross-cutting relevant issues ensure co-benefits for all sexes. We know that in India, each state has formed their own state climate action plans based on the central government's missions and commitments, and most of them predominantly are gender blind. So it is crucial that socio-economic issues based on the different roles and responsibilities of men and women are mainstreamed into the urban or city climate change policy, particularly if our objective is to protect the environment, alleviate poverty, and promote gender equality. But sadly, this is an area which still needs a lot of work. There are organizations which work on gender issues, and there are others who work on environment and climate change issues. Very few organizations combine both. And we are extremely happy that Gucci project has provided All India Women's Conference the scope for such work, looking at gender as well as climate change. Through this project, we could learn techniques to look at the urban climate change policies with a gender lens and learn ways to integrate gender therein. Each city has studied different welfare policies and schemes of their respective state with the help of GAMA tools, which is gender assessment and monitoring and mitigation and adaptation methodology. The GAMA tools were developed and provided by the donors, with the help of which gaps have been identified and suitable recommendations prepared by each city. The recommendations will, of course, be shared with the respective government authorities and stakeholders. So the impact of this project, I would say, has been phenomenal, tangible as well as intangible. It's been a great learning experience, as I already mentioned, because the project constitutes contents are of research, advocacy, awareness generation, as well as on the ground project work. So very meaningful ground level projects have also been implemented under this project and models created, which you will see in the presentations. The project originally, which was to end in 2018, has now been extended till September due to the pandemic situation. But instead of completion, I would rather say the work as per the master plan provided by the donors probably ends, but I take it as the beginning of different serious work to be taken up by AWC with renewed commitments and visions. The objective of today's webinar is primarily to share with you all the entire work done by each team under the project over the years. And the city presentations will be followed by remarks from Gender CC, the partner organizations, and well-known dignitaries and eminent personalities who have taken time out to join us today. And thank you very much for that. I'll be happy to provide any further information or clarification at the end if required. Before I conclude, I just wish to acknowledge and thank few people. Usha Nair, currently the zonal organizer for South Zone B, for all the initial work done by her for bringing in the Gucci project in India. I remember the first meeting was held by the ZSCC during COP21 in Paris in 2015. And both of us attended the meeting along with Amareshwari, who was the treasurer at that time. And following that, the proposal was submitted, and that's how the whole thing started. So thank you, Usha, for the initiation, that push, and all that support. Next, I wish to thank patron Mrs. Veena Kohli, under whose presidentship the work under the Gucci project was approved and commenced. But for that first MOU signed by Mrs. Kohli, we wouldn't have achieved what we have so far. So thank you, Veena ji. A big thanks to the donor organization Gender CC. Sarah is with us today. International partner organizations from Indonesia, South Africa, and Mexico. Titi from Indonesia has also joined us today. We have learned so much from each other during peer assessment sessions we used to have during the international meeting. So thank you, Dr. Vidyulata from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Climate Change, Combating Climate Change, because Dr. Vidyulata was actually the instrumental in our connecting with the Delhi Environment Ministry. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult, but for her. Thank you, the office bearers, members who have supported the work under the project in Delhi, Sheila Satyanarayan, Asha Gambhir, Jitender, Nimisha, program officers Ritu, Pratibha, and most importantly, BG, the finance manager of AIWC, and her team, who meticulously maintained the whole account very, very efficiently, kept us posted and cooperated throughout. Last but not the least, a big thank you to the current management, President Sheila Kakreji, Secretary General Kuljit Kaur, and Treasurer Rehana ji, for providing all the support for completing the assignments under the work plan. Please excuse me if I have missed out anyone, but sincerely appreciate and acknowledge all who pitched in. And once again, thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyani ji. And now we will begin with the presentations of the work done by the 4 cities. We would like to begin with Chennai. So I will invite Mrs. Padma Venkatraman, President, Women's India Association, that is WIA Chennai. She is heading the Gucci project in Chennai. Her address will be followed by a presentation by Dr. R. Sujata, member of the Gucci team, Chennai. Over to you, Mrs. Padma Venkatraman.
Unmute.
Can't hear.
Padma, we can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can.
Yes.
Thank you, Rekha ji. Very
Yes.
good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of WA and myself, I would like to thank AIWC, Kalyani Raj, Gothilin, and the team Gender CC Women for Climate Justice for giving us this great opportunity to implement this Gucci project in Chennai. Actually, whenever you hear the discussion about adverse result of climate change or poverty alleviation or the disaster, natural disaster, but anything about the women's perspective takes a last seat. Nobody thinks about it. It's not in the mainstream. So actually, we are very happy to implement this project, particularly because this is focus on the women's contribution, women's perspective in the urban climate change initiative. Because normally, as Kalyani also pointed out, this we talk about all the issues like poverty, anything else, but women are the most affected whenever that disaster happens. But that aspect is not really brought into the mainstream, and because the other issues are more overpowering probably. But that is why we are very, very happy to implement this project in Chennai. But we also learned a lot, when we talk about issues and all that, naturally, particularly in developing countries, it is about the, livelihood of everybody. It's not, we don't think of only women and men like this. But when you go deep into it, now we have learned so much that how much women, particularly women, because of women and the children are affected, and why there should be a separate focus on this issue on women. So we are very happy to implement this project, we were able to sensitize many people from different walks of life, not only government people, NGOs, even the beneficiaries, even the people who are implementing it. We have learned a lot because we tend to overlook everything. We see the thing issue, the problem as one whole thing, not as particularly as how women are so badly affected. And this particular project has given us an insight. And really, I appreciate this. And I'm happy that we are implementing it in all the four main states. Actually, I'm happy to just share with you one thing. Well, the seed project that we started here in Chennai, at WIA, somebody picked it up in Bihar and have created a beautiful forest, and they had sent a photograph. See, this is, I'm very happy because this is not only confined to any particular area where we are implementing it. The idea is spreading. That is what we expect out of this project. So I'm really happy for all these things happening. I would very much like to thank Tara Gandhi. I just invited her a few days ago, and she has very kindly accepted to participate. And Tara, probably many of you know her. She is eminent, not only an environmentalist, she is an ornithologist, and she was a student of none other than the Birdman of India, Dr. Salim Ali. So she herself has written a book. I can go on and on about it, but Tara, thank you very much. Can I
Thank you.
say this? By the way, she's the granddaughter-in-law of our Mahatma Gandhi, our father of our nation, and she's also the wife of very multifaceted diplomat, Mr. Gopalakrishna Gandhi, and her daughters are also into environment and protection of this thing, the animals and all that. Thank you very much, Tara, for participating, and we look forward to hearing from you. And also at this juncture,
Thank you very much for being so kind.
WA Gucci team, and particularly Kannagi and the entire team, they had put in a lot of work. I think somebody is talking. Yeah. Okay. The entire Gucci team has put in a lot of effort. It's an immense this thing because of all the lockdown and all that. It was not easy to approach officials or any thing. In spite of all that, they had done a tremendous job with so much of commitment. And not only the lockdown, some of them had personal health issues also because of COVID. But in spite of all that, I think I really appreciate the entire team. And I don't know whether Mr. Syed Fazlur Rahman has joined. He said he will join us. He's Assistant Director of Fisheries, and he has been helping us a lot. His presence, if he's here, I appreciate your presence here because that gives us a lot of strength. That shows that we can all work together with the government, with the NGOs, with everybody. Thank you all very much. May I request Sujata to present our report. Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Sujata.
Yeah. Thank you, Padmaji. Thank you, Padmaji. And now, can we have Dr. R. Sujata to do the presentation?
Can I get the share option, screen share option?
Dr. Sujata, please.
Yes, please. Hello, Rekha. I need still a screen share option.
Pardon?
A screen share option I need.
Kannagi needs a screen sharing option.
Acha.
Kannagi has just been made co-host. Kannagi, you can start sharing the screen so Sujata can start speaking.
Kalyani, you have also been made a co-host, na?
Yeah, I will do yours. Don't worry.
Okay, so you can present mine. You can share my presentation.
Yeah, Kannagi, you can start.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Yes. You able to view?
No.
Sujata, okay.
Yes.
Now we can
Yes.
see.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can see now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You can make it in the PowerPoint slide format.
Yes.
Yes, 1 second only. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Sujata, ma'am.
Sujata, you can start. Is she muted?
Dr. Sujata?
Sujata, probably you are muted.
Lemantic.
Sujata is there, but Sujata,
1 second, I'll call her.
Yeah, I'm calling.
Ma'am, you're. Yes, I have started sharing. You just start.
Sujata,
Dr. Sujata? Please unmute yourself.
Unmute. Unmute.
Sujata is offline. Sujata, Dr. Sujata is offline.
இருக்கீங்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு பேசுங்க நான்
Yes.
ஸ்லைட் ஷேர் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
நீங்க பண்ணுங்க சீக்கிரமா.
சரி, அகைன் என்டர் பண்ணுங்க.
There was just now a message that Dr. Sujata is offline.
Yeah.
She is trying to enter in.
Okay, okay. Let's wait for some time.
Sorry. What happened?
I'm not able to enter it on my mobile.
Because she's not able to enter.
Ritu, are you there? Ritu, Pratibha?
Ma'am, we are there only.
Is there any issue entering में?
No,
कोई
no,
problem तो
nothing.
नहीं है ना?
No, ma'am, we are online and she was unmute. I don't know,
Okay.
might be some network problem,
हाँ.
but she was unmute.
Kalyani, there was a message right now that she's offline.
She needs to re-enter it again, yeah.
Or would you like to go to the next one and then when she comes back, we can have it?
Should we do that, Kalyani? Kalyani?
Yes, yes.
Can we go to the next city?
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Sujata has joined.
Yeah.
Okay, she has joined. Okay, okay. Chalo, very
Sorry,
good.
technology hitch.
No,
So,
no problem. No problem. Yes, yes.
So
Not in
I'm
our
not
control
able
at all.
to log in from my thing. I'm logging in from my mobile, and happy to be here and part of the Gucci project. And I would like to present the Chennai's experience with Gucci project, and to put it in the right perspective. Ma'am, next slide, please. Looking at Chennai, we see that Chennai is a growing megapolis, and ma'am, next slide, please.
Can you put it in the thing?
Yes, yes. Are you not able to see?
No, no, next one.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Is it okay, ma'am? Second slide I have.
No, second slide hasn't come.
Not coming.
You have to do enable editing because there's some restrictions. You have to do the enable editing. There's a one task bar.
Uh,
You just click on it, then you can start.
1 second. Before sharing, we have to do. Hello.
Your PPT showing there's a one,
Ma'am, you have
task
to
bar.
put it on presentation mode, ma'am. Okay, I will keep on presenting so that by the time we have a look. The first point regarding Chennai is we find that Chennai seems to be eternally growing, and we are in a position to be called a megapolis. And in the sense, we are seeing that the city is ever expanding, and we have newer areas brought in, under the Chennai area. And we see a persistent change in the land use pattern. And a lot of the peripheral agricultural areas and the rural areas have now been brought under the suburbs, have now joined into the city area, and all of them have become highly urbanized concrete jungles. And we have these areas with high population densities and increasing high per capita requirements of the natural resources. And this is true of all growing cities, and so is the case in Chennai. And that has its own implications on climate change issues. And then going on to the impact of climate change in what has happened so far, if you look at it in a historical perspective in Chennai, for the past 10 years, at least, if you look at it, we've seen that in 2015, we had the worst kind of floods. And there was a huge inundation happening due to the tropical storm in 2016 again, the very next year. And the whole city was, flooded. And in 2019, 3 years afterwards, we actually had the worst water crisis. There was a day when we were close to the zero day in which we would not be having any water. And we brought water from, neighboring districts by train. And that was the condition of the city in terms of water. Are you able to hear what I'm able to present?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
First
So
slide,
if that was the situation, and I think all these things, if you look at it, and we see that in terms of climate change, the impact on the city as a whole was quite, the extent was more, and the awareness and all need to be spread on these impact of climate change. And I think the lot of awareness programs were started being held after that, and there was a consistent talk of Chennai, parts of Chennai going under sea, and how much of the land will be lost to climate change. And the academicians, the researchers, everybody started speaking about it in the past decade or so. We have all become very interested in this particular aspect, more so because of this.
Hello, ma'am. Slide mode, ma'am.
Think about the widespread awareness on climate change. It started happening because of these events, and we also joined from WIA to, as you know, started spreading the word. And the Gucci project offered us this particular platform where we could take up mitigation and adaptation activities and look at it from the gender angle. And we started working on awareness on climate change, particularly looking at the urban phase and how we can integrate the gender lens. Normally, climate change, and as Madam was already explaining, people are experts in gender or experts in climate change. You have very few people working on an integrated platform of gender and climate change. And of the few people who have been working in this area. I think all our experts in AI, and WA are there. Then we see that people are really concerned about the gendered impact of climate change. And this is a good platform to look at it. And next, going on to what are the awareness that WI did as part of the Gucci was that we considered as a whole of Chennai approach, that is in certain awareness programs. We have thought that because it is not, climate change is not confined to certain project areas, certain things, and we considered certain awareness programs that we considered as a whole of the Chennai approach. And in that whole of Chennai approach, we were able to take up several awareness campaigns where we involved students, youth, teachers. We had more than 100 or 150 participants of teachers who joined with us. And we did not leave the women with disabilities. We brought them in, and we brought the resident welfare associations, the resident communities. And one particular highlight of this whole thing is this whole climate ambassadorship at the local university level. And that was one of the key highlights that came out, and we were able to create ambassadors at the university level to take the concept of gender and climate change. And in schools, we promoted herbal gardens and plants of medicinal value and all that. And there was the WA is part of the climate strike rally that we conducted across the Chennai city. And then the next aspect we were looking at is the broadening of the stakeholder base. We thought if we were doing it in the schools, colleges, that would restrict our thing. And we moved on to the urban local bodies and government sectors, different government departments, government organizations, and we approached premier institutions like the IIT, the Anna University, and other NGO organizations like Exnora International, and Women Development Corporation, who had their own bandwidth of self-help group women. We try to bring them in. And the Department of Environment, of course, is the key stakeholder for us. So we try to bring them all together. And the highlight of the whole expansion of the stakeholder base was that WIA was invited to the state action plan of climate change consultation. And they were able to express in the consultation that gender as a component be included. And I think in the second state action plan for climate change 2.0, this particular component has been included as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. And the WAS was part of that important initiative. And then going on to the spreading the awareness programs, certain mitigation activities which we took up was with regard to as the AIWC's main agenda in terms of the solid waste management, e-waste management. We've been going on a lot more of consultation in certain pockets with different partners. And I think that was the things we spread our wings with different partners when we were able to rope in a lot of more people and resident welfare associations, the corporation, the Chennai Corporation, and urban local bodies in that area to make it a successful thing. And also, in terms of greening aspect, grow trees to improve all that, that also became one of our important initiatives. And in terms of energy conservation, we were able to actually look at energy conservation and how to efficiency and use of LED bulbs and all we were able to promote in certain areas. And in terms of adaptation activities, we were looking at bringing in plastic consumption and how to move from use of single-use plastics and move from plastic alternatives. And for that, we were able to train people and look at, bring them into the thing, and more focused on women's health and nutrition. That was likely to happen due to the increased impact of extreme weather changes. Then in terms of the one other initiative, as Padma ma'am was mentioning, in terms of the seed balls, which one of our seed balls traveled up to Bihar and was able to create a garden in that area, is it's a matter of great pride that our project moved far ahead of that. And then the one of the other initiatives is the cow dung lamp project. The cow dung lamp project can be looked at it from the upscaling to reduce the methane emissions and things, and that is one of the initiatives, and where our WIA members started manufacturing these lamps and distributing it to the people as during different functions for the different events that these people visited, and that was one of the initiatives. And the major initiative is with regard to the palm tree plantation. Palm tree happens to be Tamil Nadu's state tree, and we have gone ahead in starting a plantation in the state and supporting the government of Tamil Nadu in this initiative. And palm trees are specifically important as climate change thing, because they offer a carbon sink and also reduces salinity in the soil whenever there's a salt water intrusion in those areas. If you look at it from that perspective, it happens to be a very useful intervention in terms of a Gucci project. And then the policy level intervention we are looking at, it's improving the green cover of the city, and also how we can address the heat island effect. And we have the main the uptake of this is we have been able to influence the resident welfare association, the different community leaders to take part in this particular initiative. So that is one of the main initiatives that that's worth mentioning as part of the Gucci initiative. Then going on to the mitigation initiatives, one of the major mitigation initiative was with respect to the Temple Green initiative. So the Temple Green initiative is where we actually worked around, started in 2019, and we worked for solid waste management in these religious spots. We help to reduce and recycle and compost waste, and we ensure that the waste generated is actually reduced at the point and doesn't reach the landfill. That's part of the initiative. And as Chennai has many temples and places of religious importance, we thought such an initiative, and it attracts lots of pilgrims, thought such an initiative will be useful in terms of climate change initiative. And then we on a continuous basis, WIA hosts training programs for on a fortnightly basis for women, and this is one of the interventions that's been ongoing from 2019, and it looks at moving to renewable, clean and green energy issues. Then going on to the project identification, of which we go on to a micro level, from a macro perspective to various activities that we took up. Now we move on to the looking at a micro project which we had taken up, and that is in a particular area around along the beach marina, which is one of the best very scenic beaches and considered to be the second largest beach of the world. And so we have one unique thing in that particular close to the beach, there is an urban fishing communities or resettlement that has been created in around, we have around 7 to 8 hamlets there, and out of which we have taken around 5 hamlets, and we worked on those things. We had preliminary consultation workshop, and at the level we looked at the existing state and city level policies, and we tried to look at the knowledge gaps on gender and climate change, which are looking at it, and how the transport, how the entire sector and thing. And one of the happy things that we should be sharing with you all is that in Tamil Nadu, women passengers do not have to pay anything to travel in a bus, and that is one of the things that has come out of various deliberations, which we said that women are using the urban transport or even transport more than the men, and I think the women transport facility should be made cheaper, or made much more accessible, and economic costs should be reduced. That I think is the thing, some of the consideration that have gone, and which has been taken up by the government now. And we have had 3 consultative meetings with the different parts of Chennai, with different people. And several issues on water, sanitation, transport have been thing, and based on which we have been able to have a major stakeholder meeting. And when we were able to identify the specific project thing, and then the process, I'm just going through the process which we went through to identify which is the project we are going to take. And when we were discussing, the reason why we are actually looking at this particular initiative of happening in the Chennai seashore area. And we were looking at cleanliness, hygiene, sanitation facilities for the fishing hamlets, and what are the gaps we're looking at, and awareness on women's safety and all those issues. And then to move on to the implementation of the project, what all we did in the project area from February to May 21. COVID actually pushed back our expected developments. We actually have had to work on this, started the work on this project area in February 2021 only. We had planned to start by August, September of 2020, but because of COVID and lockdown, and it became very difficult, and we could not start early. But in the 3-4 months which we were possible, we did extensive work, and we got into the field area and worked in the around 2,500 urban fishing community households, which are all dependent on artisanal fishing communities. And we worked on how climate change affects, and we were able to find out that during the only during the COVID period, people actually realized that women were contributing to the not only to the household income, but they were, even in the fishing community, there was always the fact that men only went out to catch fish and women were not contributing much, because whatever catch was coming into the
Dr. Sujata?
Hello.
Yeah, can I interrupt you a little? Can you please wind up fast, because we are running short on time, and each city has been allotted only 15 minutes.
Sure. Thank you.
Sorry about it.
So that is one of the things we helped through different partnerships. We were able to take it on and build different climate change things. And we have in those areas, we have tried to build a common facility resource center where, to help the fishing communities. And the COVID actually brought to sharp focus the role of fishing community women, and I think it is probably that time when men realized that these women could actually contribute to the whole the income of the family, and they were responsible for actually bringing in income for the betterment of the family livelihood. The entire concept changed after that. So then, going on to the several adaptation efforts, we have been doing a thing in terms of teaching thing to be how to be safe and how to look at the early warning signals and all that. We were able to teach both men and women and make them aware and how to carry the thing forward. And in terms of fish processing methods, fish waste management, we've made some things. And also one of the major areas which we work with, they are close to the coast. So we looked at marine litter and how to clean up the beach and how to maintain all those things. So because we did not want them to be polluting the seas in which their entire livelihood was dependent. And so that was one of the major activities. And the fish for the resource center, the community facility resource center, we actually put up a solar power panel and thing to help them in having meetings and self-help group or whatever their processing activities are there. This mini power thing would be supporting their activities. So one of the things moved towards a green energy was done. And we also actually try to look at greening activities in the thing which would support their food security and nutrient security. So these are some of the things, and policy recommendations we are just building up. And in terms of the, we're trying to document the traditional women's knowledge and spend it across. And the broad evaluation of the women's vulnerability to climate change and disaster risk management is part of the process. And some of the projects that pending work with us is the Gamma 3 and the Gamma assessment report. and stakeholder workshop and some of the policy briefs which are intending to work with the government, and recommendation paper and a strategy paper and the final report from our end. Thank you. Sorry for overstepping the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sujata. And congratulations, Padma ji and the entire Chennai team. You all have done a lot of work, but we are restricted on time. So let us just, all the cities, the presentation should not go out for more than 15 minutes. Can we
Thank you, Rekha ji. Sorry.
Yeah, can we kindly stick to that schedule? Okay. Now we will come to the capital of the country. We will move on to Delhi. Delhi, as you all know, the Gucci work is being headed by Mrs. Kalyani Raj, and the presentation will be made by Mr. Jitendra Bharadwaj, who has been doing the Gucci work right from day one since the project has started. So, Mr. Jitendra Bharadwaj.
Yeah. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Jitendra.
Yes, I am just sharing my screen. I wish. Yeah, is my screen visible to everybody?
Yes, yes, Jitendra, go on.
Yeah, all right. And you can see the seat like going open.
Yes, yes,
right.
yes.
It's fine,
Right.
absolutely. It's in the slide form. You can start.
Yes.
Yes. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Can I start?
Yes, yes.
Yes. All right. I'll keep the time really short. I'll keep it at 15 minutes. I'll try my best. Thank you so much, and it's really great to be back with AIWC, something where I started my career in policy work with AIWC, and this was a project which is like really close to my heart. Gender into Urban Climate Change project. So basically, what is Gucci? Gucci is basically, if you have to put it in some word, it's basically saving the future and addressing our future calamities, all the calamities through the gendered approach. And also to understand why gender is important, because we all know the gender inequality is a real issue in India, and that's why if one particular thing like climate change is affecting everyone, so it is going to impact people who are already vulnerable. So women, transgender, and poor people are the one who get more impacted by climate change than men. So just to begin with the Gucci work, because we have already discussed how Gucci project has been going into India, and I'm really excited to see what other cities are doing. So the Gucci project in Delhi started in 2016. We started with a status quo report. Status quo report, what basically we did was we went back to the policy, see what the climate change policies are, and in those policies, what gender or whether gender is actually be there or not. Majority of the policies said the gender is off. They could not see any gender over there. Then we also conducted GAMA, which is gender assessment of mitigation, gender assessment method of mitigation adaptation of policies. We conducted that method, and we also through that we conducted multiple interviews. So the very first the very first round of interviews started with reaching out to government agencies. We had, I think, around 9 meetings with different government departments, and we ended up interviewing 5 of them. And we will be coming with that. And I'll be discussing more about that. Then in 2018, pilot project in Rohini was initiated. Along with that, there were so many other activities that we did. We also went to the women. We asked them, what are your concerns and what exactly, your demands that are there. And with those demands, we sort of formulated this plan, which will be income generating, which will be long term, which will be sustainable. I'll come to that. So the project was supposed to end in 2019 September, but then with some delays and then the global coronavirus pandemic, the project has been extended till September 2021, and thus we are here in the dissemination meeting. So the first status quo report, as I said, the report was prepared by looking at the policies, looking at the data, looking at the various aspects of climate change, whether gender is existing or not. And then we made this report, we submitted this report as an advocacy tool and also a tool to reach out to the government agencies. We submitted this report with Ministry of Environment, the Government of India, and also the Delhi Department of Environment. If you want to access this report, it's available at AIWC's website. Then with the Gamma interview, as I mentioned earlier, that we reached out to multiple agencies, but we ended up interviewing 5 representatives from these departments. One was NDMC, which is New Delhi Municipal Councils of Delhi, DDMA, Disaster Management Authority of Delhi, NGICC, Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Climate Change, NIWA, National Urban Institute of Health, and finally Delhi Department of Environment. Uh, Once we were done with the interviews, we had some kind of data, we had something from the Sweetowski report. Then we thought we need to hear from the community women. So then we went with this community Rohini in the Bodh Vihar colony, and we conducted over 50 in-depth interviews with women. And these are some of the findings where women said that they suffer from the job loss because they're already not allowed to go out to work. And if there is some kind of a climate change impact, or if the job market has shrunk, so their already share in the job market will automatically shrink more. There was an increase in seasonal diseases. Many women explained that they're facing more flus, more vector-borne or waterborne diseases. Majority of the participants said that there are no hospitals around us. There is only one big hospital. So if something like seasonal diseases increases, the hospital gets really crowded, and we really can't get access. And people who could not go to the government hospital because the government hospital was really far, they would rely on local clinics. And local clinics, they were not being able to get affordable, accessible, and good health care there. And we can imagine how COVID has sort of impacted this kind of a situation that was already there. Majority of the participant did talk about the changing weather condition and how it has become more extreme. So they were seeing all these impacts, and that was sort of like our message, just to see like what women are experiencing in the community. Then, apart from that, we also reached out to many other organizations, many other groups across Delhi, and we conducted various awareness workshops with youth. We conducted 3 major workshops with DAV Sultanpuri, and then another vocational study center at ARWC head office. Then we also conducted this. There is the YP Foundation. They run this fellowship, and there was fellows who work as youth advocate. We also conducted workshops with them. We had this interaction with them. We reached out to over 100 participants, and with that, we got some ideas from them as well. But the youth continuously demanded that we just don't want to be representative in the climate change policy, but we want to be there and work with the government in the decision-making process, and want our voices to be heard and implemented in the climate change policies and the change that we can make. Apart from that, we also did this consultation last year in May 2019, where we invited participants from GID and ARWC member. In this national consultation, we talked about how climate change policies at national level, how we can introduce gender. So we had this conversation, which was at the national level. Then at the regional level, we had 2 major consultations. One was gender neutrality on climate change. Another was a roundtable discussion on gender, on the nexus between gender and climate change, where various participants to Delhi Government Department, like Transport Department, Delhi Health Department, MGICC, Ministry of Environment, India, various CSOs, various research organizations, various academics, various grassroots workers, along with the youth representative, along with the education member, took part in it, and that really helped us to formulate ARWC's advocacy or make us more visible at all the levels, national and regional. And that sort of helped us in participating at the COP event, where the government invited ARWC to be part of their exhibitions and their workshops and their consultation at the international level. So this was sort of like the strategy that we were working with, and that sort of like really worked. Then in 2021, we had this national review exercises where we looked at the national climate change policies and what exactly is happening there. So one thing that happened was a national review exercise. We found out that climate change policies, as well as under the 8 missions in MOEF CC, include women only as beneficiary and vulnerable. Broadly, the policies are gender off or gender neutral. Government of India's major thrust is on mitigation and solar energy. The focus is on Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission, which is only on a technical side. So they just want to look at the power distribution and providing it to the people, but not how equally it can be divided or not. Thus makes a gap. But on the other policies, you would see that gender has been included continuously as an awareness generation and sensitization, but not placing women at the gender decision-making process. And I think that was one of the findings. And finally, India's submission to UNFCCC on Gender Action Plan highlighted relevant gaps impelling gender integration. Then we also conducted the same exercise in Delhi as well. We wanted to look back like how things have changed from 2016 when we started the work to 2021. In this particular, we could not see gender inclusion in. So Delhi has recently launched their action plan on climate change. We could not see gender being a focal point at all. Gender is visible in many policies, but again, it's gender off. So same what we have seen national, a little less than, at least in national, we could see gender being emerging as a focal point, but in Delhi, it still is at a very limited level. It has increased a little bit, but it's still very limited. Many of the policies are still gender off. On-ground project, I'll be talking about two main projects. One is the waste management project that we started in Bihar colony. Idea was that people have a lot of waste, people don't know how to manage the waste. So sort of like making women learn how to compost, make that compost, and by selling those compost on plants, have some income generation at the same time. So that model really worked in that particular lane. We chose one lane of that entire colony and provided them with information, provided them with all kind of help that we could, and we ended up setting up a system which will be self-sustaining for the longest period of time, and that was the waste management project. The second project was on wastewater management, because wastewater is a really big problem in Delhi, and you would see Yamuna being polluted every time, and every year we hear news that how polluted Yamuna is. So putting in those lines and also putting this idea that we need to turn AIWC's head office into a green building. We started this project, which was which was the design provided to us by Indian Agriculture Research Institute. So the idea is on 3 points. One is appropriate disposal of wastewater, then water conservation, adaptation of climate change impact. So basically, these plants that you're seeing in the picture, you put all the your wastewater in the drain that's below these plants, and these plants sort of naturally, without use of any chemicals, sort of clean the water, and then you can drop that water into your sewer. So basically, then you're not sending direct your wastewater. You're basically cleaning it and then letting it go a little bit. And then we also had made this documentary, Weathering the Odds, India's Women Against Climate Change. It's available on YouTube. Do have a look at that. So speaking of project impact, we adapted various methods and mechanisms to transform the AWC office into a green building, introduced community project to establish a low-cost income generation climate change adaptation and mitigation model, connecting with the government departments on climate change, raising what we advocate for. The gender has to be a focal point in climate change policies, along with the other policy, working on that. Learn methods and strategies of gender inclusion in policies, learn gender inclusive strategical tool development. We organize regional, national consultant to sort of create this momentum where everyone is talking about climate change and gender, because the first step is that make people to talk about and then see how we can intervene into the policy framework. Then we also increase our advocacy on having a gender responsive climate change policy. We learn mechanism to mitigate and adapt to climate change with a participatory approach. Other than that, some of the gamma findings that we had found, I had already mentioned that many of them we could not see gender back then. So this report is coming from 2017. We did not see any kind of gender inclusion. We only see gender being just as participation and people or the government saying that these groups can be needs to be sensitized, and they need to be sort of come and be part of this discussion. But at the level of decision making, these voices are not being heard at that point of time. Then these are another final point of my recommendation part, which is basically capacity building of women to take leadership roles in climate discourse, active participation on women in advocacy of climate change issues, and differential impacts. Climate change policies and initiatives should ensure co-benefit, not for just women, but also men. Inclusion of strategies like gender budgeting, gender analysis of policy, and formation of gender committees. Inclusion of women not as beneficiary alone, but as active respondent. Support for women-led and local solution to climate crisis. Need for more social research and conducting evidence-based advocacy work. And with this, I have completed all the bits that we have done in past 4 years, it was really a difficult task to put everything together and sort of like explain it. Our journey from 2016 to 29, so to 2021. The key focus had been continuously is to include gender into the climate change policies because as we know that recently by UN the flag has been raised that we are under the red zone of climate change crisis and the impacts have already started. So I think it is an emergency situation where we really need to talk about how we can tackle climate change and how we can make sure that climate change does not, if the impacts are happening, we can protect those people who are more vulnerable towards climate change impact. With this, I would like to close my presentation. Thank you so much, Rekha ma'am. Good to see you after such a long time. Yeah.
Yes, Jitender, thank you very much. I was also just thinking that we have seen you after a long, long time. I think after the Indonesia trip. Okay. Yeah. All the very best.
Rekha, just 1 second. I must thank Jitender specially because he's not working with us anymore, but he just obliged when I asked him to do the presentation and he has covered every aspect very well. Thank you so much, Jitender.
Yes, thank you so much, Jitender. Okay, now we move to the eastern part of the country, that is Kolkata. The Kolkata Gucci team is headed by Mrs. Shikha Mitra. Mrs. Shikha Mitra has been the vice president at AIWC, and she is also the president of the AIWC East Kolkata Constituent Branch, Lake Town. Her address will be followed by a presentation of their work by Babani Roy Chowdhury. Over to you, Shikha.
Thank you, Rekha. Very good afternoon to everyone. It is a great privilege of really for our branch AIWC Calcutta. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, okay. To be a partner organization of Gender CC, along with other Indian pilot city partners under the banner of AIWC. The Gender into Urban Climate Change Initiative project came to us in the year 2018. At a time when climate change was a lucrating issue yet unusual in regular discourse, Kolkata stands as one of the vulnerable cities to climate change, and to begin this project was an eye-opener also for us. While preparing status quo, the vulnerability of Kolkata became all the more clear, and we also got an idea on what the government policies are that could be climate friendly. However, the initial research and through the Gamma interviews conducted, it became quite clear that climate change was still an area of ignorance and inexperience, and gender into climate change was still missing from discussions. It was understood that it is a long road and our responsibilities are much more than just the completion of the project. Our first plan was to create awareness among fellow citizens, and so we choose our audiences intelligently. We targeted the students the most as they are not just the future, but also the future policy makers by educating them on the reality of climate change and the gendered effects of climate change. This project was a very educating experience for us and also very challenging. And so when we needed to decide on the pilot project, we decided to go with the Sundarbans. We all are aware of the geographical importance of Sundarban, and that it is also a recognized Ramsar site and one of the most vulnerable areas right now. While working for the climate change in Kolkata, we knew Sundarban was a significant part of it. The mangroves protect the city from the destruction of the frequent cyclones, and so it was evident that Sundarban was the one for us. Then started our journey to find an area who would actually require our help. We didn't want to work on areas where there were government projects going on or some NGO already working. We found a place in the Pathar Pratima block of South Chobbish Pargana, the village named Achintanagar Hatishur, because of its geographical shape. The village was a very interior one, about more than 120 kilometers from our office area. This was a huge challenging, but the village was a very vulnerable one. When we first visited to survey the area, we could see the traces of destruction from Cyclone Bulbul still after 2 months of its occurrence. The village lacked the basic requirement of health, education, drinking water, roads, etc. A local organization, Chetna Shankar, worked as the field team for us and are also providing a market to the beneficiaries to sell their surplus organic vegetables. On the pilot project, we worked on plantation, inland plantation of fruit and medicinal trees, and mangrove plantation in the river banks. The women were trained for everything, from preparing saplings to plantation to taking care of trees and in organic farming. They were also trained to make their own vermicompost. All of us has together worked very hard to make this success, but we know there is a long way to go. Especially, we want to bring a sustainable development, then there is still a lot to do, and we are looking forward to anything and everything that could support us to take this project forward, at least till the point where it could sustain on its own. Before concluding, I would like to thank and forwarded my gratitude to Gottlieb Albert and the whole Gender CC Secretariat for their constant support and guidance. Even in the odd hours, Mrs. Kullani Raj for being the guiding light throughout the project. I thank our President, Secretary, Treasurer of AIWC New Delhi and all who are present here and participating in this webinar. And last but not the least, I like to thank all my AIWC Calcutta Constituent Branch members and office staffs, Pilot City Kolkata, GUSI Working Committee, and Steering Committee members who have extended their help and cooperation to run and manage the project in right way. My special thanks to Bhavani Rai Chaudhary, the coordinator of this project. Now I request Bhavani, who is the coordinator of this project, to present the PPT on behalf of AIWC Calcutta. Thank you, Rekha.
Thank you, Shikha. Thank you, Shikha. Bhavani Roy Chaudhary, please.
Bhavani is not audible.
Bhavani, please unmute yourself.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, you are very much audible.
Okay.
Yeah, you can start.
Thank you. I would like to welcome everyone to share about what we have done until now in our project in Palace City, Kolkata. So before going into the details of the project, this is an image of our mangrove plantation that we have done as a part of pilot project in the Atinchanagar Habisur village. As you can see, the saplings are not quite visible because they
Bhavani, you need to change the slide.
Yeah, I changed the slide already.
Oh, no, it's stuck on the first one.
Bhavani, change your slide.
Yes.
Okay, now is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So the picture is of the mango plantation. As you can see, the saplings are very small. These are only 2 months old because we have done.
No. Next slide.
Yeah, it's not moving. Yes.
The slideshow is not working over here. Fine. Can you see now?
Yes, it's okay now.
Okay. So here are the mango plantation images, and plants are only 2 months old because plantation was done during the months of November. Okay, so now moving on to the project work. We have signed the project on 11th of November 2018 in the kickoff meeting held in Chennai. And from then on, we have started working on every aspect of the project. First, we formed a working committee for the project, which included 6 standing committee members of 6 AIWC branches of Kolkata. And then we have held regular meetings with them, updating them about all the work that has been done. Next, we formed a steering committee with some very recognized organizations in Kolkata. Out of them, 3 are NGOs, that is Disha, Safe and Spade, and the other one is Huladik Recycling, who is also a partner with us for e-waste collection. Today we have with us the director of SHAPE, Srimati Amrita Chatterjee, who would rather later on speak on this. Next, after forming the 2 committees and taking their advice, we have started working on the Gamma interviews. We have conducted a total of 5 Gamma interviews in the city with 5 different policy makers. Here are some images that this is the image of the first working committee meeting. The second one is the meeting with the steering committee. You can see the last image. It is with all the members of the working committee and steering committee together on an advocacy program that we have conducted on 19th of March 2019. Next comes, this was the first Gamma interview with the Chief Environmental Officer Dipanjana Malde. The second Gamma interview with the Transport Commissioner Sri Vishwajit Datta. Next is Ashish Kumar. Engineering Council EKNC.
We can't hear Bhavani.
And the next one is Sri Shapan Shamadar, who is also a Engineering Council in KNC. Now, in this case, was initially although thinking just lost from them, but once we got, they were that to say, yeah, quite generously. Now, moving to the next one.
We can't hear you, Bhavani. We can't hear
Bhavani.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
അച്ഛമ്മ ഫോട്ടോസ് ഒന്ന് വലുതാക്കി നോക്കിയതാ, അതാണ്. ഫസ്റ്റ് കയറിയത് അച്ഛമ്മയുടെ പേര് ആദ്യം വന്നു.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Bhavani, continue.
Okay. So next was the stakeholders workshop, and this was a very big event for us.
In fact,
where we have invited some ministers and policymakers, although very few of them were able to attend that because of some political issues going on during that time. So the stakeholders workshop was organized in the on the 24th of September 2019, and it was attended by Mayor Srimati Krishna Chakravarti and Dr. S.P. Gon Chaudhary, who is an expert in the field of renewable energy. Included there, Dr. Gon Chaudhary himself was one of the speakers. Then next we had Dr. S.C. Sakra, who is a professor of environmental science from Jadavpur University. We have Dr. Ishita Mukherjee, professor of economics from Calcutta University, Dr. Lakshmi Balakrishnan, professor of environmental science from Calcutta University, and Srimati Amrita Chatterjee. So we have the 2 sessions and so conducted lunch for everyone who was present there. For this, we had our AIWC name. We have some postgraduate doctorate students from all the recognized universities here in Kolkata, and also our steering committee there. We also took this opportunity to publish our status quo report in the presence of all the eminent guests, and there was also a space for the press release, which was attended by some of the local media. So here we have some snaps of the from that day. In the first picture, we can see Dr. Gon Chaudhary being celebrated in the dial. The second one is the publication of the stakeholders of the status quo report. The third one is with Shikhari giving an interview to Akash what was definitely the challenge in 2020, which was, I think, was challenging for every one of us. As we have, throughout 2019, we have conducted a lot of awareness program. It was really an eventful year for us, and we have planned a similar things for 2020. But life said something different from us. So we were home, and working from home was normal at that time. So before entering into 2020, we had a lot of plans already planned up. First, we were planning with our pilot project, for which we had done an initial survey in January 2020 in the area of Jagannath village in Hadishur, and we selected it as the pilot project area. The reason being, it was a very vulnerable area, and when we visited it in the first time, it was totally devastated by Cyclone Bulbul, which occurred around December 2019. So, but again, we need to push back all those things because of the challenges that 2023 at us. But we took this this opportunity to coordinate into our social media stream. So we began a creative online competition, the gender effects of COVID-19 for the students, for the freelancers, and we're really happy to know that it has gained a lot of support from everyone. So there was a whole lot of participation, and the whole competition was co-judged by Srimati Kalyani Raj and the Gender Secretariat. So here we have an image of the poster that we have released online for the competition. Coming to the next point is the drama. Now, drama was one of the most important aspects of the whole project, and we have been in constant touch with the Gender Secretariat, with Gautam, with Tara, for their help. So without their help, it wouldn't have been possible. So we have first finalized, after completing the interviews, we have finalized the drama scorecards, and then we started working into the application adaptation, and then the drama assessment, and all these things actually took a long time. And then most of the things were completed by the end of 2020, and then we started working on a policy recommendation, and it is now in the stage of the finalization. Now for drama, we would also like to point out certain challenges that we have faced. First of all, the main thing with drama that we faced was we felt that the abstract that was provided for drama was a bit twisted on our part. So we had a bit difficult on understanding it, but all thanks to Gottlieb and Kalyani for being there for us throughout the period. The next was the questionnaire, because I feel that the questionnaire seemed a bit unaligned according to the government structure in India, because here we have two sorts of policies running together. One is the central government policy, one is the state government policy. So once we went for the interviews, it was difficult from both our part and the interviewers part to understand which were the questions relevant to them. So I think it took us time to finally understand, and by the end of it, it was, I think, sorted out, and we have actually found something major. But amidst all these things, one big concern that we find while going for drama was the inadequate concern of the interview. Like climate change and the gendered lens of climate change was something totally ignored and unexpected by these people. They were rather quite not sure like what to speak on this matter and what are the policies that actually require. So that is a place of concern for us, because I think we were waiting for some very concrete answers from their end, which we didn't receive while going through the whole drama interviews. So although the drama was one of the challenging work, but it was also one of the most educating educating work. It has helped us on looking at climate change in different perspectives. It has helped us to look into the policies and also to study the policies in a better light, and also to come up with laws for the government. After the drama, another most important thing was the pilot project. As already has stated, we have selected Achintanagar as the pilot project area, and this is we have
Can't hear you.
Can't hear.
Hello?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay.
Bhavani can't hear.
She has gone offline.
Shikha, are there more slides? Because we are also running out of time. Are there more slides?
Shikha? I think both
only
of them.
three, only 3 to 4 slides.
But she is gone offline now.
I don't know why the net is disturbing from starting.
Can you continue, Shikha?
No,
or should we go to the next city and then if she joins back, she can complete? Is that okay, Shikha? Oh, now she's sharing again.
Yeah. Just let's wait for 2 minutes, Kalyani. Yes.
Bhavani, are you there?
Bhavani, can you hear us? Start sharing.
Hello.
Bhavani? No, I think she's offline.
Sheila, Rekha, you just continue with others. If when she will join, she can rest.
Okay.
Rest, she will continue.
Bhavani,
Okay.
no, I think she's here. Bhavani, are you there?
Yes, she has come. Okay, complete.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you. If you can just
okay.
quickly finish the next few slides because we are running out of time.
Yeah. Sorry, actually, I had some problem with my.
Okay, now continue.
Inauguration through the virtual, and the pilot consists of two things like plantation and also organic farming. For plantation, we land plantation and mangrove plantation, and then there was organic farming. A total of 109 women were included in the project, and they were trained for everything, right from making the saplings to organic farming, for making vermicompost, and also parallelly empowerment and leadership trainings. So these are the things we have tried to do and we have tried to accomplish through our. The very first one, if you can see, it is the image of training program for Chaitanya Shanga, which is our field team in Sundarban, and we have trained them for how to take forward the pilot project. Coming to the next, the first image is the image of an organic farming done by Srimati Kalpana Rai, one of our beneficiaries, and she had done the organic farming in the backyard of her house. The next is the plantations, the plants that were required for the plantation project. The third one is the training going on for organic farming, and the fourth one is the training for the making of vermicompost. Here we have an image of a 2 months age mangrove tree which is planted in the river banks. For further works, we will say that in approx 2019, we have conducted a lot of awareness program, and in this regard, we have included 4 other AIWC branches, and we have tried to go further to reach out more and more people. So our audience came from various backgrounds during this awareness program. There were students, there was research scholars, as far as vendors from the market too. So we have tried to touch every other aspect. Second of all, the competition that we had done in 2020, we were holding back the prize distribution for a really long time, which now we have in presence of Srimati Kalyani Rai. Then next, with collaboration with Huladik Recycling, we had opened an e-waste collection center in the campus, which now we have forwarded to also a plastic collection center over there.
And another important thing that while we're working into the pilot project, we came across, as already referred before, that the area is one of which was very vulnerable. So once we started working in the pilot project, there were lots of crises that the area had faced. First, the COVID-19 lockdown, countrywide lockdown. Second, the cyclone Amphan that came on May 2020. And next, the cyclone Yash that came in May 2021. In all these three crisis period, AIWC ECC stood by them, and we have supported them by sending relief materials, food materials for these people. Next project.
Babani, how many slides?
AIWC, 2 or 3 more.
Okay, because we are running out on time.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So we have also sent out video content for the video February 2021, we organized a webinar on gender in India existing disparities, for which we had some very great speakers. So we have the images of the webinar here. Next is the image of the awareness program done in our pilot project on gender equality. Here are the image. Next are the images of the prize distribution of the competition, and then there are the images of the relief materials sent to the pilot project area. We have the most important future plan that we have is to work further in our pilot project area, because that is such an area who are lacking the basic facilities in their life. They don't have proper drinking water, food, clothing, medical and education facilities. So everything is bare minimum in the area. If we could do something more in the area, that would be really helpful for us. Later on, we also plan to take this pilot project concept to other interior areas in Sundarban where there is no help from the government itself. And most importantly, we would like to prepare a book on the whole project work that we have done as a research work for the project. We are also looking forward to bring together the boys and girls of the AIWC ECC Youth Young and work towards zero e-waste and plastic waste in Kolkata. Not just also prepare educational videos as social media tools. Thank you, and sorry for this disturbance.
Thank you, Babani. And with that, we come to the last presentation of the Gucci work done in the financial capital of the country, that is Mumbai.
Can I invite Rekha Sali? She was our vice president earlier, and right now she is member in charge Constitution, and she has been part of the Gucci project Bombay right from beginning. So Rekha, over to you for presenting the Bombay work. And I will share the screen for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kalyani.
Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Carry on.
Yeah. You keep moving the slides,
Yeah,
Kalyani.
you go on telling me, say next, I will do it. Okay.
Yeah. Work undertaken by the AIWC Mumbai branch under the Gucci project. Mumbai city. The city of Mumbai, home to 20 million people, is under severe environmental stress. Any measures which the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, that is MCGM, has taken to address environmental and civic issues have woefully fallen short. The need of the hour is to create awareness amongst the public about the potential impact of climate change on their day-to-day lives and make them realize that they too have a stake in their own future and that all the planning and work cannot be left for the authorities alone. No matter how many projects the government rolls out, they will not be successful without full public participation. City authorities must involve women's groups and NGOs, not just must involve women's groups and NGOs, not just in project implementation, but also in the planning stages and indeed even during the policy framing. They shouldn't hesitate seeking advice from experts in the field of gender studies during policy and planning stages, just as the government and public sector about gender aspects of climate change and a step forward in the direction of holistic and sustainable development. Can you move the slide, Kalyani? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Workshops and consultations. Mumbai branch has conducted quite a few capacity building workshops and awareness programs involving students, youth, and community women in different vicinities across the length and breadth of Mumbai city. We also conducted a stakeholders workshop wherein the officials of the disaster management, sanitation, waste management, water, energy, and transport were invited. Experts from the Indian Institute of Technology, Powai, were also present, who gave their valuable suggestions. We also conducted interviews for Gamma. I'm presenting in short the findings of the Gamma exercise and the recommendations made to the Mumbai Municipal Corporation. Next slide, yes. Impact of the work undertaken. Introducing new policy and effective implementation can lead to substantial cost and time saving, improved efficiency and collaboration of all stakeholders, thereby leading to concrete impacts such as a strong policy that ensures gender mainstreaming on paper as well as in action. Policies with a gender focus has the potential to empower women and lift them and their families out of poverty. Increased coordination between various working groups will save not only time but also costs. Once a system is in place, it can be used to tackle diverse challenges, not be limited to just climate change. Engagement of diverse groups and stakeholders towards a common goal of climate change action will yield a broad range, all-inclusive impact. Women and other vulnerable groups will benefit from safer, cleaner, healthier, climate-resilient cities. Next slide, please. Yes. Under the Gucci project, we have proposed a project in Shantivan Ashram in Panvel. Now, this is the ecocentric treatment and reuse of wastewater, in short called the CW4 reuse technology. We are proposing to do this project in collaboration with Dr. Asolekar, Chair Professor, Science and Environmental Engineering Department, IIT, Mumbai. Okay. The proposed project in Shantivan Ashram in Panvel targets the 3 Sustainable Development Goals. SDG 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. SDG 6, ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. SDG 11, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. The primary objective of this project is water conservation and optimum utilization of water. But the supplementary outcomes will be saving energy, saving money, reducing greenhouse emissions, and closing the resource usage loop, ultimately moving towards a sustainable future in rural areas. A little about the Shantivan Ashram. The Kushtarog Nirvan Samiti Trust at Shantivan Ashram has been treating and rehabilitating leprosy patients since the past 50 years. It is spread over a 122-acre plot in Wakari village, Panvel, 50 kilometers from Mumbai. Shantivan has extended their activities to rural development and now includes a home for the aged, residential school for tribal children, a home for the invalid, a cooperative credit society, and a naturopathy clinic. Why we chose constructed wetlands, that is CW4 reuse? That is because it has a low-cost setup with minimum mechanization, easy management, less energy use and maintenance. It is also suitable for incremental improvement, recycle and reuse-oriented, and compatible quality of treated water. Now, this is about the site this is our site at Shantivan. Constructed wetlands will be established for the treatment of wastewater from toilets and mess kitchen. Wastewater will be collected by gravity into the septic tank. The overflow from the septic tank will be deposited into the constructed wetland beds. Treated water will be used for irrigation or be discharged into a pond or reservoir. You can here see the project layout. This is the project site at Shantivan. In the second slide, the gentleman in white is Dr. Shyam Asolekar. with whom we are doing this project. You can also see Mrs. Kakade and myself when we had visited the site. Now, the current situation of the project, currently the project is stalled due to COVID-19 lockdown enforced by the government. It is estimated to restart in September 2021. The work in progress. We have finished the preliminary inspections, measurement, and the survey has also been completed. We have done the cleaning up of the 2 septic tanks, total volume of 14,000 liters sludge from the girls' hostel septic tank and 7,000 liters sludge from day toilet septic tank. Design of constructed wetland completed and finalization of the quotation for construction is nearly completed. Construction work is likely to begin in the 3rd week of September 2021 and will be completed by the end of November 2021. We had just completed the septic tank cleaning work when the pandemic struck. So right now, considering the situation in Mumbai, our work is completely stalled. Till about 10 days back, IIT was also under total lockdown just till about 10 days back. So now we assume that we will start this work in the 2nd week or probably the last week of September. The recommendations that we have since we had done the policy stakeholders workshop. Firstly, a climate change policy exclusively for the city of Mumbai must be formulated and all municipal employees must be alerted about its existence and its importance. Then a training plan must be formulated to educate municipal officials regarding gender and climate change. All departments of the municipal corporation must participate so that they are on the same page as to the vision and also the mission of the climate change policy. Many cities such as Chicago, Toronto, and Tokyo have developed their own climate action plans spearheaded by their respective mayors. Such a city-specific plan can be formulated and implemented using the MCGM resources. Climate change units should be established in each municipality consisting of government officials, women's group, elected representatives, local business representatives, etc., to discuss and map out a path on climate change challenges in their respective localities. Any action to be taken by the MCGM must have a set time limit with quarterly progress reports submitted to the mayor's office and shared with all the stakeholders. Conclusion. Maharashtra state has developed numerous policies on mitigation and adaptation. While there is a lack of gendered perspectives of climate change, there are numerous routes to build on existing skills and knowledge. A Mumbai-specific policy and action plan is the need of the hour right now. An efficient coordination between various committees and departments of MCGM is all that is required. Through this report, we have suggested policy recommendations that emphasize on a gendered perspective on climate change impacts and its mitigation. Implementation of these policies will not only help mitigate climate change impacts, but the socio-economic improvement of vulnerable communities will be a great co-benefit. That is all about the presentation. And at the end of it, I would like to say that while this entire Gucci project has been a great learning experience, I would like to thank Mrs. Veena Kohli, in whose presidentship we got this project. I would also like to thank Mrs. Usha Nair, and last but not the least, Mrs. Kalyani Raj, who has been with us through this project, through all its ups and downs, right from day one. Kalyani, we are ever so grateful to you for all the valuable help given at each and every turning point of this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rekha.
Okay. And now, with all the presentations completed, can we move on to the next?
Yeah, you can start the next one now.
Yeah. We are privileged today to have with us eminent personalities who have made tremendous contributions in the field of climate change and environment. It will be a pleasure to know their views in brief. So can we begin with Titi, Kalyani?
Sorry?
Because can we begin with, yeah?
Yeah, actually, yes, you can begin because for her, the time difference is there, no? So she's getting late also.
So we will begin with Titi.
How do I stop?
Hello, Titi, are you there?
Yes.
You're there, no? Yeah. So nice to see you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for
Activities?
the invitation. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear
She
me?
is our
Yes.
GUSI partner from Indonesia.
Yeah.
She is heading the GUSI project of 4 cities in Indonesia. Titi Santero has done immense work on climate change and has been doing so since a long time. She is also a member of the Climate Development Fund. Welcome, Titi.
Thank you.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
thank you for Kalyani and AIWC and everyone who invite me to these important, interesting, and excited meetings, because, you know, we also did the Gucci projects, and it's really a learning platform. So hearing all your informations, which is very enriched work and rich with knowledge, rich with activities, and a lot massive capacity building and awareness rising. You know, when I hear your uh, assessment of the policy, I'm thinking, wow, we are in the same boat, because those are also our findings, you know. Similar situations like lack of analysis, what we found, lack of analysis of the race and vulnerability of women and other marginalized groups in triggered by climate change. And the government is also doesn't develop a gender indicators, you know, to ensure that mitigation, adaptation policies and strategies are gender responsive. And they also do not involve women in the decision making processes for the national and cities policies. Women's organization were not invited, vulnerable groups not invited, and government also doesn't develop any complaint mechanisms to help community if they have complaint because of the mitigation and adaptations actions that they implement. And informations from the governments is also still lacking in the term of gender and climate change. So I hear that the same similar situations. And it was at the national level. At the city level, some cities, or we work in 4 cities, and 2 of the cities, for examples, do not have specific policy on climate change. Also, there is a climate disasters already happening in those cities. And because they don't have policy, it means there is also no institutions in those cities that specifically address the climate change. And lack of gender disaggregated data, lack of understanding, and women are invited to participate in climate action at city level, but they don't know what is the purpose of the projects, and therefore their contributions are not acknowledged. And in the contrary, the women's burdens in the household increase, because, you know, they have to take care of the activities, but on the other hand, no helps from the government if they run out of money to maintain the projects, and they still have to work at home. So it's increased. And, you know, the recommendation is also the similarly gender mainstreaming, and then how to create a gender responsive policy. So it means we did the policy assessment, and after the policy assessment, we put the recommendations into the governments and then do awareness raising what is needed actually in the cities related to gender and climate change. And, you know, I don't want to prolong the sessions of my speech, but I must acknowledge, as you also found out, that Gucci is really a good learning platform. It enriched the process, enriched our knowledge and skills in gender and climate change. And we also see it is important to do a capacity buildings, not only for public and particular women, but also for the decision makers, because they are the one who create the policy, how to do a good policy that really gender responsive and transformative. And, through Gucci, I know you, I know Kalyani, I know Sally, Sika, and so on. So it means the Gucci platform is a real good platform to have a information and experience changes amongst women's group from different countries involved in Gucci. So I would like to thank for the invitation. I would like to thank for the exchange of information when we met, and I hope that our work, our collaborations not end when Gucci ends, but it will start a stronger work collaboration among us. Thank you for the opportunities to
sure. And thank
speak.
you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now we will move on to Mrs. Tara Gandhi. She's an ornithologist and an eminent environmentalist and also a great writer. She has written a book, Birds and Trees. Married to Mr. Gopal Krishna Gandhi, she also happens to be the daughter-in-law of Mahatma Gandhi. Namaste.
Namaste. No, firstly, I have to thank you so much for this very kind introduction. I am not eminent, but I'm now in the presence of ladies who have been work. I'm totally listening to all the work they're doing. It is extremely important and extremely significant future. It has a learning experience, participated in the Gucci programs, and for me, for the first time, I have to thank Padma for having invited me to this extremely mind-opening and mind-blowing work that you are doing in 4 cities. What I have learned seems to me that you have achieved a huge progress in getting advocacy, getting implementation, and getting awareness on climate change and its implication on women. As you've all rightly pointed out, climate change, firstly, itself is a lesser known problem that many people don't even acknowledge it as something that is impending, and we are experiencing it all the time. But impact of climate change on women, on gender, this is something that is so little understood, and it is marvelous that you through your organizations, through Gucci, have made this aware, and that you are working towards the sustainable development goals. I'm totally impressed and totally thankful to you all for the work that you're doing, which is going to benefit the entire country and the women of the country who are really in need of assistance of your type. Also, lastly, I don't want to take much of your time. Lastly, I find that the coordination, collaboration, interdisciplinary approach that you are adopting is so essential. It is becoming more and more essential in all walks of life. Especially we experience it in the environment field, in which the nature conservation environment field, in which I have been working for the past so many years, is that it's so hard to get people from other disciplines to appreciate what the importance of the discipline which you're working. So you're working for climate change, you're working for gender, and I'm totally impressed that you have managed to influence and you managed to get on board policy planners and coordinate with all of them and to IITs and so many different institutions, organizations, schools, NGOs. It's all what you're doing is extremely important, and I compliment all of you, congratulate all of you for the work that you have done. Thank you again for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gandhi. We also have with us today Dr. Vidyulata, who is an assistant professor in the Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Combating Climate Change. They are also the implementing partners of the Delhi Environmental Ministry of Climate Change. Dr. Vidyulata?
Namaskar to all
Yes,
of you.
welcome. Yes.
And I would like to speak in Hindi. I think Madam Titi has left the program.
Yes,
All
yes.
of us can understand the Hindi, and we all are working with the communities. And
no problem, Dr. Vidyulata. Carry on.
No problem. Please continue.
तो
Only
सबसे
we
पहले
have-
तो मैं मैडम कल्याणी और आप सबको जो भी इस प्रोग्राम से जुड़े हुए हैं सबको कंग्रेचुलेशंस करती हूँ, बधाई देती हूँ कि बहुत ही अच्छी प्रेजेंटेशंस थी आपकी। और इस प्रेजेंटेशन जो कि ये आज का जो प्रोग्राम आज का ही नहीं, आपकी बहुत मेहनत है 2016 से। और सबसे पहले मुझे जितेंद्र जी और मैडम कल्याणी से मेरी इंटरेक्शन हुई थी इस प्रोजेक्ट से रिलेटेड। और फिर उसके बाद हमने गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइज जो दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के कुछ ऑफिशियल्स थे उनसे भी बातचीत की और उन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट भी किया। तो जो कुछ क्योंकि पॉलिसीज में इसलिए इन्वॉल्व नहीं कर पाए शायद क्योंकि एनवायरनमेंट डिपार्टमेंट की या एनवायरनमेंट मिनिस्ट्री की अपनी एक गाइडलाइंस होती है, उसके बेस पे उन्होंने पॉलिसीज बनाई है। बट जब तक आवाज नहीं आएगी हम सब की तरफ से, जो कि ये देख रहे हैं कि विमेन का पार्टिसिपेशन कम हो रहा है, जबकि 50% ऑफ आवर पॉपुलेशन इज विमेन, एंड अनलेस एंड अनटिल वी विल पार्टिसिपेट देम इन आवर पॉलिसीज, उनके बारे में सोचेंगे ही नहीं तो हम डेवलपमेंट के बारे में सोच ही नहीं सकते। जहां तक क्लाइमेट की बात है तो अब तक का जो टाइम था क्लाइमेट पे कोई सोच ही नहीं रहा था। आने वाले पिछले 20 सालों में क्लाइमेट की प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं थी। अब जब हमारे क्लाइमेट की प्रॉब्लम शुरू हुई तो क्लाइमेट से रिलेटेड हमारे जो इश्यूज हैं वो निकल के आए, और निकलने के बाद कुछ हमने रूरल एरिया या एग्रीकल्चर से रिलेटेड विमेन पे काफी काम किया, बट अर्बन पे अभी नहीं इतना हमने शुरू किया था, जो कि अब गुच्ची प्रोजेक्ट्स के साथ जुड़ने के बाद मैंने भी काफी कुछ इस पे देखा कि ये बहुत कुछ हो सकता है। इवन अब ये एयर पोल्यूशन जो है, हमने वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट की जो बात की, अभी मैंने देखा वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट या दूसरे भी एयर पोल्यूशन के जो सोर्सेज है जैसे ट्रांसपोर्ट का है या वो है, लैक्टेटिंग मदर्स हैं या हमारी प्रेग्नेंट मदर्स हैं, उनको कितना अफेक्ट करती हैं। इवन हमारे जो बच्चे हैं प्रीनेटल स्टेज पे उनको भी इतना ही अफेक्ट करती है। तो ये ऐसे इश्यूज हैं जिन पर रिसर्च भी होना चाहिए। यही नहीं, हमारी यूनिवर्सिटीज या हमारे IITs के स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनको वो भी टेकअप करें और आगे बढ़ें, और इनके जो उनके रिकमेंडेशंस है वो अगर आती रहेंगी तो नेचुरली द पीरियड विल कम, द इश्यूज विल बी टेकन केयर बाय द पॉलिसी मेकर्स। और पॉलिसी मेकर तो जब हम घर की बात करते हैं, फैमिली की भी बात करते हैं, तो हमारे घर में भी डिसीजन मेकर होते हैं मेल्स और एग्जीक्यूटर्स होती हैं फीमेल्स। तो उसमें भी हमारा कई चीजें जो हमारी रह जाती हैं, जैसे अभी इसमें जितेंद्र ने भी बोला कि कुछ ऐसे है जैसे वेक्टर बोर्न डिजीजेज हुई या सीजनल डिजीज हुई, या हम ऐसे किचन में काम कर रहे हैं। तो ये सारा क्या है कि डिसीजन मेकिंग में हमारा अभी इतना रोल नहीं हुआ है, भले ही हम इकोनॉमिकली एम्पावर्ड हैं, जो इनकम जनरेट कर रहे हैं। और अभी कुछ ऐसी एनजीओज भी हैं जो इस पे काम कर रही है, जैसे फूल करके एक एनजीओ है जो कि उसमें अगरबत्ती बना रही है। ऐसे भी कुछ एनजीओज आगे आ रही है। डूडलेस है, डूडलेस क्या है, पुराने कपड़ों से उनको कलेक्ट करके परचेज करके और उनसे दोबारा रिफर्बिश करके नए कपड़े निकालती है। तो ऐसे भी कुछ हम शुरू कर सकते हैं। ऐसा ही गांव में ऐसा होता है कि पुराने कपड़ों से कुछ कुशन्स वगैरह बनाना, या वो है जो हमारी ट्रेडिशनल जो आर्ट है उसको भी हम मेंटेन साथ के साथ रखें ताकि हमारा वेस्ट जो है हम उसको बना सके। दूसरा, मूविंग टुवर्ड सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी का जो कंसेप्ट अब आ रहा है कि हमारा जो अभी तक का जो हमने अभी इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट हमने निकाला, भी वेस्ट बहुत ज्यादा निकल रहा है, हमने लिया और डंप किया, यूज एंड थ्रो वाला। तो अब क्या है, नेचर में कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है जो वेस्ट हो, जितना बनता है नेचर उसको कंज्यूम करती है और फिर उससे नया प्रोडक्ट बन जाता है। ऐसी ही जो मूविंग टुवर्ड सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी का जो वो आ रहा है कि कंसेप्ट निकल के आ रहा है कि हमें उसकी तरफ जाना चाहिए। और हमारे जितनी भी टेक्निक्स है, मान लीजिए वॉशिंग मशीन है, खराब हुई, हमने उसको फेंक दिया, ऐसा नहीं है कि उसके सभी पार्ट्स खराब हैं, उसमें से बहुत से ऐसे अच्छे भी हैं। तो उन सब को मिला के अगर रिफर्बिश करेंगे तो शायद हम अपने क्लाइमेट को बहुत कुछ सेव भी कर सकते हैं, और हमारे विमेन जनरेशन और बाकी भी जो जेंडर है उसको भी सेव कर सकते हैं। बट ये बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे कि वीमेन्स के ऊपर हमें वीमेन उससे बहुत ज्यादा जुड़ी हुई है। उसके लिए आई एम अगेन congratulating you all and thank you for inviting me for in this meeting. And thank you Kalyani ji and Madam Shelly and all, Madam Tara and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Vidyalata. I would now like to call Mrs. Lakshmi Balakrishnan as she has a class to attend at SAIF. Lakshmi is currently pursuing her PhD in Environmental Engineering from the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering, IIT Mumbai, under the guidance of Professor Shyam R. Asolekar. As a budding researcher and academic at IIT Mumbai, Lakshmi is currently focusing on the areas of circular economy of water, emerging organic contaminants removal, decentralized wastewater treatment technologies. She has also been serving as a teaching assistant for PG and UG courses at IIT Mumbai. Actually, Dr. Asolekar could not be present today, but Lakshmi is very much here, and Lakshmi has been working with us on the Panvel project. Welcome, Lakshmi. Can you say something?
Yes, sure, ma'am. Thank you, Rekha, ma'am, for such an introduction.
Yes.
Ma'am, I would like to say on behalf of Sir and our research team at IIT Bombay, we are very much entitled to collaborate. Actually, for Gucci, we even teach UNFCC initiatives by UNFCC, and it was a good opportunity. I mean, first time I am attending your meeting. So, I mean, we are happy to see that IIWC have achieved this much in progress, and your contributions to UNFCC goals, especially SDGs, and I mean, very much. If you have any reports, so that we can share it with students of our class, so that at least this is happening in ground work, we can just show. Yeah, it's a good work, ma'am. I would like to, and it is our privilege to get a participate and contribute to associated with your team as well.
Lakshmi, we can't hear you.
Hello.
Yes. Now continue.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
So, hello.
Yes, you're audible now.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I wanted to say.
I think she's going offline.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I just wanted to say that some of the reports which we have done on climate change and SDG, they are all available in our website.
Oh, okay, yes, sure.
Website, so you can have a look at it. It would be really good. And then otherwise, I mean, you can get in touch with Rekha or Sheila ji or me. We will provide you with. But most of them are available on our website. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. And Lakshmi is a great help to all of us. I keep messaging her, I keep calling her, I keep worrying her, but she is always ready to help. Thank you so much, Lakshmi.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Now can we call Sarah Lewis? Sarah, are you there?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sarah
Lewis is associated with Gender CC, the donor organization. She supervises the entire Gucci project at Gender CC. Sarah, over to you now.
Yeah, thank you, Rekha. Is there a possibility? There's an echo.
The voice is echoing.
I can hear an echo. Is it possible that we mute the other microphones?
Your voice is not echoing, so carry on.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, for having me Yeah, that is very impressive. I thank you so much also for organizing this event, especially, of course, Kalyani, I think, has played a major part in this, and of course also the president of All India Women's Conference, Sheila, but also all the team members in the different cities that are collaborating together. And yeah, I must say I was really impressed by all your presentations. I work for Genesis CU Women for Climate Justice in Berlin. We had a not funder, but a coordinating organization in the Gucci project. And we support, as Kalyani has already pointed out, my colleague Gotland has drafted the Gamma methodology that has been developed further in the past years with all the project partners in Southern Africa, in Mexico, India, and also Indonesia. And yeah, it's really great to see how it has been implemented and improved over the last years and what are the outcomes of that use of the tool. Yeah, and I'm sure we can really have a meaningful impact with the project as total, and also well, we will try and do our best to support you in any possible way until the end of the project and formulate overarching recommendations from all the Gucci partners. Yeah, at the end of the project. Yeah, maybe one thing I was also really impressed, I must say, is during the last 1.5 years, we have all been in very difficult situations. I mean, the COVID pandemic has hit India really hard, and we know that. And you have been really creative in that time, especially with the film project. And yeah, that was really nice to see that even in this difficult period, you were doing something really extraordinary, and there was so much energy, like positive energy in this project. And I have learned so much from everybody. I was happy that I could meet everyone just before the COVID pandemic in Abu Dhabi. I think we all remember that because it was just right after that we all got struck by the pandemic. Yeah, and I also want to say that we are aware also of the position of GenCC being in the political global north, and yeah, feeling this. Yeah, if you look from a decolonial perspective, of course, also we have a certain privilege and role, and I hope that we can encounter that in some way and see this really as a project where we all learn from each other, and it's not an organization from political global north that is giving the ideas. But I think we have taken so many ideas and learned so much from all the partners. And yeah, as Titi pointed out, this Gucci project is really a big learning experience for all of us. So yeah, I really want to thank you, and yeah, I hope we still have a few months where we learn together and have also a good end of the project together with a conference in the end. And yeah, I want to hand back to Kalyani or to Rekha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. It was nice to have you with us, and let us hope we meet soon. I would now like to call upon Mr. Syed Fazlur Rahman, Assistant Director, Fisheries and Fishermen Welfare. Hello, Padmaji, is he there with us?
No, Rekha, he's not available. No, he has, I think he hasn't come.
Okay, then we will move on to Mrs. Amrita Chatterjee. Amrita Chatterjee is there with us?
Yes, hello, how are you?
Okay, you're there. No, just I'll just introduce you. Amrita Chatterjee is a member of the steering committee of the Gucci Kolkata Pilot City. She has a long a list of awards. She's an adept professional in development communication and a gender green activist with a decadal experience in community outreach and right-based inclusive development in the Indian eco-region of South Asia. She is currently doing her PhD thesis on model of environment communication with gender perspective in climate conflict. She has also done impact assessment studies in South Korea and is serving as a director in South Asian Forum for Environment, a regional civil society organization. She is proficient in building social entrepreneurship opportunities for marginalized women and also actively works on women empowerment and human rights. Her pioneering work is entitled Resolve Trash to Cash, a groundbreaking program on solid waste management by creating livelihood opportunities for poor, especially for waste scavengers in landfills. She has been awarded the UN Habitat Youth Award 2014 and Match International Women Award in 2015. She is also the member of the International Association of Feminist Economists, and under the leadership Resolve Trash to Cash, a women-led waste recycling community enterprise, received the UNFCCC Momentum for Change Lighthouse Activity Award in the year 2014. Congratulations, Amrita ji, and welcome to the forum.
Thank you, madam. It's much really humbled with that elaborate introduction. I don't deserve, but yes, it's always. I have been listening very carefully for past, I think, almost 2 hours now, and it was really an enriching session for me, and it was a good learning experience. I have been associated with this project under GUCI with All India Women Conference. I mean, since its start days. So I'm thankful to AIWCC for considering my involvement, my participation into this project, which goes on empowering so many women in Pathar Pratima in areas where definitely there are climate challenges. There are many vulnerabilities considering not only changing climate, but also there are many poverty issues, livelihood issues, social challenges, the abuse that in day-to-day life women faces. So these are all there, and it is well, all this kind of points are covered under this project, and especially the whole, the amalgamation of so many, I would say, empowered, women leaders, and then transcending this whole concept, the project, to the community, the community women who are needy, who needed this project basically. And it went, I must say that it really has brought up a very, very good partnership with community in the grassroots, and also all that we have joined today. I'm very much thankful to each of you and congratulate you for such kind of a network, such kind of a unity, such kind of a cohesive leadership, I would say. So yes, and I also would like to appreciate the grassroots workers who had actually gone and done the project in the field. So really, really congratulations to them. But just in 1 minute, I would want to end that I would be happy if this project is again scaled to a level that it reaches to other interior parts of Sundarban as well. And this project is scaled to a level that we can create new livelihood opportunities for women. Basically, what we women in grassroots, whom we are actually have considered them as our community partners or community beneficiaries. So you would say that once there is a livelihood solution, there is a financial empowerment and freedom, there would be it would be rather easier for women communities to combat climate change. And because on the one side they are fighting with poverty, and on the other side they are fighting the climatic changes and the cyclone and other kind of disasters that is happening. So yes, I would request GUCI and the other funding partners, if involved, that if we can really scale the project to a greater height. And I assure that I am there always, in whatever way support is required, I'm always there. And my organization is also there, South Asian Forum for Environment. And once again, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Rekha, you are muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Amrita ji. Now, can we have a few words from the Secretary General AIWC, Mrs. Kuljit Kaur? Kuljit ji, are you there? Kuljit ji?
I'm very much here.
Please say a few words.
Hannah is going to give vote of thanks, no?
She's going to give vote of thanks, but you can say
Yes.
something.
No, it's okay. You are doing it so well. I'm listening for the last 2 hours.
Yes, so
wonderful
you can.
Program. Very nice.
But we would also like to hear something from you, Kuljit
No,
ji.
Hannah is going to speak. Thank you so much, Rekha. Thank you.
Okay. Now, since we are running short on time, we will leave the forum open to the AIWC members. But first, since we have our guests with us and we are running out on time, I would request the AIWC Treasurer, Mrs. Rehana Begum, to give a formal vote of thanks. Rehana ji.
Audible?
Rehana ji?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Tara, on behalf of All India Women's Conference, I wholeheartedly thank you for sparing your precious time for the Dissemination Workshop webinar under Gender into Urban Climate Change Initiative Gucci project. First and foremost, I thank President Sheila ji and Secretary General Kuljit ji for organizing this interesting webinar and for the inaugural address. I thank Madam Kalyani Raj, MEC, for the concept planning and objective implementation of this webinar. Thank you, Madam Padma Venkatraman, President WIA, our Chennai chapter, for the guidance and support of the conduction of the Gucci project in Chennai. Thank you, Madam Sujata, for the consolidated activities presentation of Chennai chapter. Thank you, Mr. Jisendra Bharadwaj, for presenting the activities done by the head office AWC right from 2016. Thank you, Madam Shika Mitra and Madam Bhavani Roy Chowdhury for the presentation of the Kolkata chapter projects. And I thank Madam Rekha Sali for the presentation of Maharashtra chapter. I thank you all for bringing the experiences of Gucci projects in India. We all are pleased to learn a lot from the branch's expertise, fruitful, constructive experiences by the representatives. On behalf of All India Women's Conference, special thanks to Siti Sorin Toro from Indonesia, Madam Tara Gandhi, Dr. Vidyulata, Dr. Lakshmi Balakrishnan, Mrs. Sarah Louis from Gender CC, Mr. Syed Fazlur Rahman, Assistant Director Fisheries and Fishermen Welfare, though he is not spared so much of time with us, Mrs. Amrita Chatterjee, Director South Asian Forum for Environment, the co-chairs of the different work streams for their leadership and support. This webinar reflects the continuous engagement and high quality of the debate and acknowledgement that a lot of challenges were covered under climate change across the various work streams by Gucci programs. The agenda of the dialogue was deep showed a thematic dialogue on successful conduction of the programs in India and by the 4 metropolitan cities and transparency of the projects. Thank you, participants. Your kind participant gave us a great opportunity to share our endeavors and efforts with you. Our common goal is not to rate performance, but to better understand how to work together to deliver improved collective results. I would like to thank all of you who contributed your valuable guidance, especially the members of and volunteers of the branches Gucci project working groups. Thank you for your active participation and inputs. Thank you, Program Officers Ritu and Pratibha, for your help and support. I thank Madam Rekha Sali for anchoring this program successfully. So let me conclude by thanking all of you for your time and valuable insights. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you, Rehana ji. Thank you so much. And now can we leave the floor open to the AIWC members, Kalyani?
Yeah, sure. If any member, in fact, it would have been nice if we had more time and if we get, their input as well. But because this, we had to do this. But then anyway, we'll be here for some more time. Like, I mean, if any member would like to share anything. And thank you so much, Rekha, for the anchoring. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kalyani, for all your help and guidance and support. Anyone would like to say something?
I'm Boomer here. Congratulations to Kalyani Raj and Sheila Kakde. Thank you so much. Everything went on very well. I would like to congratulate Rekha also for comparing and doing all the work. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Bhuma.
Bhumaji.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, Chandrani, we have seen your thank you.
Kalyani, I would like to congratulate all the people who have participated, especially to you for bringing the project and sharing it with all the 4 states. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Raghaviji. All your blessings. Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Yes, once again, hearty congratulations to AWC, to Kalyani. Really, it was so wonderful right from the beginning, as we all expressed. You have been guiding us, all of us, and bringing all the cooperation, the coordination between all the 4 states and all that is not easy thing. But you have done a very good job, and we have learned so much through this. All of us.
Absolutely,
We have learned so much.
It's been a great learning, actually.
Great learning, absolutely. And Rekha, you did a marvelous job of.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Padmaji.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Kalyani has put in a lot of effort right from day one since the Gucci project began, and particularly even for today's event.
Yeah.
She has really worked very hard and guided all of us all along.
Exactly.
Actually, we
Yes.
should take it as a beginning. Actually, now that the project is over, we can start, I think, focusing on, doing some really project, like, all the mandatory work we have done. Now
Correct.
we can look at some good work which we can do on the ground. Yeah.
Yes.
Take further.
Yes.
This is Ashita, and I'm sorry I'm off video, but still, many congratulations to all the branches. I mean, all the 4 branches who have taken up this. And I think listening to what you have done has given us the real picture of what this project is. Probably, if we had known before, we would have had a better clarity. Now you have said it, and many congratulations, because it's a long project, right from the team 1, Bina Kohliji's team, to Mrs. Dhawan team, to now Mrs. Sheelaji's team.
Yes.
Continuously supported in that, from taking up to the ending. So many congratulations, and I think I was a little fortunate, all thanks to WIA, to be part of the Gucci project that they.
Yes, we saw the pictures.
I was a little fortunate, and it was very kind of WIA to call me, for their program. And I think only when we go speak, we will really know what it is. And being part of that project actually gave me a little idea of how really the working of the project goes, and how the especially seeing the reaction of the people you have worked with. Like they said, the seeds you have given, the plants you have grown, and they have cultivated. So I think I have got a view and a clarity now. Many congratulations. Probably, as you said, now with the experiments you can program such things to the other branches also, with funding or without funding, or with self-funding, or in whatever little way we can take it up, because now four branches have the various experience. Like in South, WI has experience, probably can make some programs for the South, because each zone have their own issues and ways of taking the programs as such. So South has a different kind of outlook or way you can take the project each zone. So probably can be instrumental in making a micro programs like this, which doesn't have much of funding or non-funding ways, and across to all the South branches, same the other ways. Yeah. So congratulations, thank you, and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashita. Thank you, Ashita.
Hello, I'm Harsha here, Rekha.
Harsha, yes.
Yes. Congratulations the whole team of Gucci. बहुत ही अच्छा. और मैं तो बोलती हूँ हमें कुछ मालूम नहीं हुआ, अभी ये सब मालूम हुआ तो हम इसके लिए भी कुछ काम कर सकते हैं.
Yes. Yes, yes.
So आपका गाइडेंस हमें बहुत चाहिए और मिलेगा ही, आशा करती हूँ मैं. और जरूर आप देना हमें. और हम बम्बई ब्रांच के लिए भी माने सब चारों ये मेट्रो सिटीज के लिए तो किया ही आपने, लेकिन और भी सिटीज के लिए हम कर सकते हैं ये प्रोजेक्ट.
Harsha is the president of Mumbai branch right now, and as she knows, our Shantivan project had started in February.
Yes.
It have been completed by July, because we were targeting the rainy season, But unfortunately, in March, the pandemic hit and all our plans got, thwarted.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Congratulations to all of you and thank you very much कि आपने हमें भी चांस दिया है इसमें बैठने के लिए. Thank you
so much, Harsha. Thank you so much.
Rekha, can I come in? This is Supriya.
Yes, of course, you're most welcome.
Yeah. Congratulations,
Congratulations,
Kalyani.
madam.
Very nice program. And I just came to know that it is getting concluded and very successfully you ran it in all the 4 cities.
Supriya, just
Rekha,
1 second. Supriya, can you just one second? I think Neeru is trying to say uska line ja raha hai baar baar. Neeru?
Okay, sorry.
Okay, we will have Neeru ji first and then Supriya. Yes, Neeru ji? Neeru
उनका
ji?
जा रहा है, बार-बार जा रहा है, बीच-बीच में आ रहा है तो वो कुछ बोल रही हैं.
Neeru ji? Can you say Neeru ji?
Madam.
I think so.
Congratulations, Kalyani madam.
Okay.
आवाज आ रही है मेरी? आ रही?
पूरे टीम को जाता है.
आवाज आ रही है मेरी? Can you hear me?
हाँ.
Yes, we can hear you. Continue.
Yes. I'm saying something.
I think your voice is breaking, Neeru ji. You can put the message on the chat. Your voice is breaking. So can we go back to Supriya?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you, Rekha. I just wanted to know that after the conclusion of this program, someone said that we could even take it, scale it up. And is there any way that we can work with UNFCCC and to take it forward in our own way, where you can guide us, Kalyani? Because we have done little work on this also with the center when you had asked us to do it, you and Mrs. Usha Nair. So we would definitely like to have a guidance on working with UNFCCC and continue working on it.
Yeah, sure. Definitely it is possible. But the thing is UNFCCC is a different kind of work. That's more on the policy level work. So we can decide whether we want to do on the policy level or we want to do at the grassroots level. We can do both, definitely.
We can do both.
Yeah, we can do both. And definitely we'll, once this is, as I said in my this thing, that it is not the end and it is the beginning, because we do have some funds there and we can plan out some good programs. And that's what I plan to do next. So definitely I'll be in touch with you and you can give some ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supriya.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I think Kalyani, that's all. Anyone else would like to say something, or can we close the session? Yes, who is that?
No, there's just हाथ उनका ये हो रहा है.
Yeah, I know.
ठीक है, I think we can close.
Is that Ashwini?
Thank you.
Ashwini? I think we can conclude for today, Kalyani.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Thank you very much once again to all of you. I know I've been after you people for many things, but then it was really good that 4 of us could come together and do this, because you see, this is what सबको पता चलता है अच्छी तरह से ना कि what all we have done, because we keep talking about it, but there was a lot of apprehension. Gucci में क्या हो रहा है? So at least good that
really
it is out के सबको पता चला है कि भाई कितना काम हुआ है. All the teams have done such wonderful work. Actually, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. So thank you once again so much to all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. And because of the shortage of time, we could not do a longer presentation of all the work done by all the 4 cities. We had to conclude it in short. And sorry to anybody to whom I have asked you all to stop the, I have interrupted you all, but time constraints are there. So please do forgive me. And thank you once again, everyone, particularly Kalyani. Thank you for all your help and guidance. Can we close now?
Thank you, Kalyani. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyani, Rekha.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. This is Chandra.